Welcome back to Diving Deep, the Dirty Water Boys. Today's a special edition. We have a lot of the Dirty Water Boys in-house, some of our dive crews here. And we're here to talk about the unfortunate events with the submarine that took place in the Atlantic Ocean over the last week, and all media coverage has been on it. So I have across from me Johnny Pineclass, a.k.a. the Legend. And I also have Bobby Ritchie here, also known as the Sea Monster. And that's not because of his size or his boyish charm. It's what he has in his pants. Now, next to us, this is Mikey Boy, Mikey Boots. Now, Mikey Boots, he's a virgin, not in the sense you may think. He just got back from dive school because he went to better himself like a fucking nerd. I'd rather him have his dive cert than be an icky dicky. So,
hey,
we're missing two more of the Dirty Water Boys. They'll be around eventually one of these days. But right now, we have the heavy hitters here who have some deep dives under their belt to talk about the sub. So, Legend, let me ask you a question. Out of curiosity, would you get on that sub?
No.
Hold on, let me re-ask the question. Not what you know now, just in general prior.
Just in general?
Yeah, would you have gotten on it?
No. I think if you show me a submarine that's shaped like a teardrop, no, that looks like it was made in someone's garage, absolutely not.
Okay, how about you, Sea Monster?
Not for fun. It'd have to be a big paycheck.
So you wouldn't pay to get on it. You would need to be paid to get on it.
That changes everything. Hold on,
Yeah.
we're getting paid?
Yeah, you're getting paid.
Oh yeah, wait a second.
Well, what's the per diem like?
Yeah, how
It
much?
still have to
how
be a
much per
good check.
foot?
That'd be a good check.
That'd be a good check with
Yeah.
with like a back end. You know, like
He's
some-
Sea Monster. You
someplace
heard it
else
here
to go.
first, folks. The Sea Monster's all about the back end. All about it.
Nice.
Mikey Boy, Mikey Boots.
I don't think I'd get on it.
You wouldn't get on it?
I'm too new.
Everything scares me.
Everything scares me.
I'm scared.
I need to see all the safety plan and everything like that.
I love diving with him. He makes me laugh. He's like, let me see your filter rack. I'm like, who the fuck taught you filter rack?
You wouldn't get on it, Mike?
No, he did. Oh, the sub or
Yeah,
the filter
sub.
rack? Oh.
No, no.
You got on the sub, Mike?
No, I think I'd be scared shit to go down that deep.
The
Nah,
other,
man,
the
you
other
gotta go
thing
for
is
it.
too, anything you can't get out of, I'm suspicious of.
Like marriage?
Well, you can get out of that. You just gotta pay.
No, bitches are scary, man. You're crazy. They are the real krakens.
Yeah, but the reason it's on that cool little sled that goes underwater is because they can't get
I
you
want
out.
Pappy.
You want Pappy?
Yeah, I have Pappy right here.
There's a bottle of Pappy right next to you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Can I have it?
You want my Weller?
Oh, my cup.
Oh no, drink it out of the bottle.
Anyway.
But the way they bolted them in, that they had that sinking platform. The reason that whole platform had to sink is because they couldn't figure out how to get them in and out of the sub once the sub was in the water.
So they bolted the door shut,
Yeah.
and then they dropped down their Eagle, and they put the platform in the water, then launched, bolted in this thing.
Yeah. So you get in. It's on like it's on its own vessel sort of. It's on like a mini sub of itself that it has to sit on. It's on like a little boat ramp that sinks underwater. But the reason for that is because they had to undo the front port. They have to climb in. Then once they're in there, they bolt them shut, and then that whole platform sinks underwater.
You
and
think they're
deploys.
using Milwaukee impact guns to close that?
I hope so.
Or are they torquing it like with the spec?
I hope they're using.
It's like a
Milwaukee.
NASCAR guy. Zzz, 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 time.
I hope not.
Dude,
Well, I
that's-
mean, it doesn't really matter.
You know what's fucked up to say? I wouldn't get on it, them running it, but if the Sea Monster was like, we're doing this job, we're getting on it. I'm like, all right,
Yeah, well,
sounds cool.
Again, there's a paycheck attached.
That's exactly why I'm there. No cash, no splash.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. And imagine all the conspiracy theories around it. Dude, I am just loving. I mean, first of all, I'm very sorry for everyone that lost their lives and their families and their loved ones. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying the internet does what the internet does best. And if you start falling down the rabbit hole with the conspiracy theories, and you're like, yep, they faked their own death.
For
Well,
sure.
the owner of the company was on it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So the guy who owned the whole shebang. He's on it. He's on it.
he's
you know?
donezo.
Is he though?
But is he?
Is he though? Because they only found a foot, a boot.
They found a boot.
They found a boot.
Were you diving there?
Das Boot.
They found a boot.
I lose both.
Ah, all right.
Das Boot.
For those you don't know, Mikey Boots' his first dive. He was looking for a nickname. Usually nicknames are given to you; they're bestowed upon you.
You were chasing the nickname?
He was chasing the
You're
nickname.
chasing the nickname.
He was
Gotta
having.
have
He had post on Instagram. Hey, what should I name be? Kind of a thing. And I guess he got some shitty names sent to him.
Terrible.
And he dove with us the one day, and he gets out of the water, no boots on. I'm like, and they were my boots. He borrowed them.
There it is.
I'm where the fuck are your boots? And he goes, I lost them.
Both.
Both.
Well,
He's
you
kicking
can't
his
walk
little
around with one.
He's kicking his little feet. So
That's
as
brilliant.
soon as his helmet hit the deck, it was Mikey Boots. That was it. There's your name, fuckface, Mikey Boots.
Could have been Tractor Supply where you got them or something.
Oh
But
my
They were-
god!
something cool.
They were Ux.
But no.
They were brand
And I
new
lost them
Muck
like
boots.
2 feet from surface as I'm grabbing the ladder too. It was even worse. I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
go
it's
back
boots
down
for
there
life.
and go
Yep.
try to get them. I
No.
feel dumb enough as it is.
They're gone.
I'm just gonna
Yeah, they're gone.
I would have been like, yeah, fuck these boots. I'm over these boots, bro.
Yeah.
I'm ditching your boots. Sorry, I'll buy you
Fuck
new
your
ones.
boots.
Just
they-
climb up the ladder.
It was
Back
bad.
on track. So the guys built this submarine. To me, it looks like they built it with some of the cheapest supplies. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never built a sub. I mean, there's guys in Colombia building subs every week. And
Trafficking drugs.
they make it here.
And they make it.
They make it to destination.
I don't think it was. I don't think cheap was the problem. I think the fact that they kept trying to go back
Right.
was the problem. I think they spent a ton of money building the damn thing.
Yeah.
I think you're
You know what I mean?
fracturing it.
Yeah, but every time you
Yeah.
drop down, it's not a steel vessel and it's not round as the other problem. It's an odd shape for putting pressure against. You know, like you look at most of those real deep subs, where everybody goes is a circle. So you got equal pressure always around the whole entire circle.
I thought that was for the circle jerk.
Well, it could be.
I mean, there was a circle jerk.
So
That's
you're
never
saying
been that.
because of the shape, in your theory, because of the shape, and then not.
Again, I am not an engineer.
Yeah, I know. You play it on
Listen,
TV.
He's just getting you the job.
Yeah, I get it.
He's
That's
got
job.
the job.
So your thoughts are because of the shape and that they kept putting stress to this shape.
With the shape and the material. So it's made out of 3 different materials. They
Yeah,
made
titanium?
it out of titanium,
Fiberglass.
Carbon fiber.
carbon fiber, and then acrylic or whatever the dome was, the front dome. So you got
That was steel.
no,
That was metal.
There was titanium. Acrylic was the front dome.
dome.
No, that thing was titanium.
The
Anyway,
ring.
I heard it was 3 materials. So anytime you got 3 materials, they're all going to act differently. And it went up and down, up and down, up and down. Every time it goes up and down, that's fatigue. And what I understand is that the people that designed it were thinking about it doing like a one-trip thing. You know what I mean? It's going to go down to the bottom, check it out, come back in and get retired. And that's not what happened. They kept using it.
How many times did they use it? Anyone know?
I know that you can't push fiberglass like that, so there's definitely no way to push carbon fiber like that. Carbon fiber is going to crack, especially at that psi. I mean, you're talking 6,000 something psi on carbon fiber. That's crazy. A decompression
crazy.
chamber, that's 2 inches of steel, and that can still blow.
You
So-
can still blow.
Did they
You know
do
what?
any tests over for
Well,
it?
that
or
was-
is
They
it just-
did. They tested it in a hyperbaric chamber.
Did they?
Yeah, I read an article on that. They put it in a sealed container in Florida or some shit.
They
tested
fired
it.
one of the major engineers because he was complaining that they weren't doing enough NDT.
Nailed it.
So
I mean,
they-
you gotta like most compressed cylinders, like they go through an ASME like certification or
Yeah.
something, like something real, that the government goes.
Something real.
Yeah,
Something qualified.
Like the fire extinguisher you're sitting next to goes, take that out of service every year. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
gonna put a sub in a bunch of times to go down to the Titanic, when the pressure at that depth is equivalent to a great white biting you in half. It's not that much, man. It's like you're gonna risk it every single time.
That seems
Just give
crazy
a
to
couple
me.
little more wraps of Bondo and shit when you're at
A
your
little
house.
splash zone on
I'd
it.
do something.
Duct tape, anything.
I mean,
I should look into how many times they actually dove it.
I couldn't find it, man. I looked.
That's curious.
But if they would have went more than
I
twice,
heard like it was anywhere. So I heard one group say it was 3 and one group say it was like 20. So
whoa.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
3.
big
One-
difference.
Like 3, I'm going like, oh man, that sucks. But 20. So you play
Yeah, but
CeeLo
it-
too?
yeah,
Like,
but
what's going on, brother? You can gamble?
I brought
$5
my singles.
million
What of what?
of profit. They went 20 times.
yeah,
That's a lot of hooch.
Oh wait,
Yeah, but
you're looking at the back end.
yeah.
You're looking at the back end.
Yeah, of course I'm not an
That's
asshole.
So you were Robbie. You're
Yeah,
on the crew.
I'm
You're
kinda-
on the crew.
Who do you think taught me? How much money we make on
So,
this?
all right, so you guys are going. You're the steward. You're the
So
foreman.
you think
All
it,
right.
the $5 million? You think you could have dumped some money back into it,
I mean,
or make a new one? I mean, how much could one of them possibly cost to build?
how much did you pay for the disclaimer?
I mean, a cartridge of ink.
I mean,
Did you see that disclaimer?
it's
They mentioned depth 3 times. Skydiving mentions it less.
for sure.
Well, then that comes into the whole thing with when you're doing something that you're taking passengers. There's another level, especially paying passengers. There's another level of responsibility. It's not like a bunch of us just saying, "Hey, let's go check out the bottom of the East River." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all volunteering to go down. We're not paying anybody to go there. we're taking it upon ourselves to be.
But you guys aren't getting paid.
You guys didn't pay?
You guys get paid.
It depends.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, when we're looking for brontosaurus bones, no, we're trying to find Flintstone's
There's a
dog.
brontosaurus bone down there?
Yeah.
Look, I haven't seen any bones except for this vertebrae that's over here. There's like a whale vertebrae.
Yeah, that was Bobby.
Bobby just shows up, and now there's like real stuff here.
Yeah, he brings trinkets.
When did you go diving?
That was from Alaska.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's street legal, so let's not talk about it.
Roger that.
But that was 3 years. No, it was before COVID.
How deep
So
is
you're
that?
going 5. It was in 6 feet of water.
A million feet.
3 feet of water. It was ankle deep.
You sign a disclaimer?
A
That's where all
million
the
feet.
treasure's found.
A million feet.
You know what I didn't like about the whole submarine thing, man, was that we're all crazy, right? Like, look what we do for a living, right?
Speak for yourself. Me and Bobby, extremely sane.
Relax. Look, I think that we're all kind of crazy, and we all like do our own thing. Like, I was in saturation. That's already bananas, you know. But even then, you're in a bell and you're coming up. It's a 1 day of decompression for every 100 feet plus 1 day. So,
2 days.
well, if you're at 500 feet, then it's 5 plus 1, so it's 6 days of decompression. It's a long time to decompress, right? These guys are just going down to the Titanic just because they want to take a video that's already been done by an ROV that can go twice the depth. You know, is that worth $250,000? I guess I don't know, man. I get up for $2,000 and I'll go
also,
jump in these.
I wouldn't judge the way they spend their money. I keep hearing that.
But look, if you got the money to spend it, do
Yeah,
whatever you gotta
I'd
do.
fucking spend it.
I'm with it. I'm just saying though, I still wasn't going down there if I didn't know the system was okay and it was just gonna kill me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Like,
that's the difference. You're educated on the system. So when you get to work, you can walk through it and you're understanding what's around you and you can see, the problems. That's why you and Bobby, you're in a position of being a foreman or being in charge, or Bobby's dive super. You can sit there and you know the system. So when jerk-offs like us show up, we don't have to walk the system because you guys know it. So for you to say you walk the system is a little moot point because you know it. These guys don't know the system. They're
but
just
he
going
did
on
know
the guys.
system though, didn't he?
The
Wasn't
owner.
he like
The owner knew the system.
Yeah, wasn't he
Yeah.
the main guy? Wasn't he like leading these Titanic expeditions?
He was a failed astronaut too. Is the other story.
Wow.
It's like beauty school dropout.
Yeah. So he wanted to be an astronaut.
So did I.
Didn't make it.
Me either.
Went
Me
to
neither. I got a rejection letter from
went
NASA.
to.
Should have framed that.
I think he went to work for one of the major airlines as a test pilot or
Probably Delta.
test. No,
Spirit.
no, Boeing. It was Boeing or one of the people that built them, and he was a test pilot, and then realized that wasn't what he wanted to do, and jumped ship in the submarine.
Wow, nice pun work, Dad. All right.
So did he
but-
own the ship that launched him also?
He was like the lead guy running expeditions down there, I think, for the Titanic. So,
That's crazy.
like, but I read something that he talked to James Cameron, and James Cameron was like, no, not doing it either. There's a lot of safety protocols, and like he owns.
He
like,
owns a bunch of
he
those
owns
subs.
like a lot of them. Like, so he's like the main guy.
More than one.
The deepest human dive ever was James Cameron. He took his
In a
sub to the
submersible.
submersible to the Marianic Trench. So
Yeah.
his submersible's done the deepest dive.
I thought Chris
to
had the deepest dive.
Wrong.
Got it.
No, well, 2,100 feet was the deepest dive in a hat in saturation, but submersible was definitely James Cameron.
James Cameron.
So I feel like if James Cameron says no, you don't do it. You know.
So are we gonna have the conversation of James Cameron is the godfather of submarines?
Well, I mean, you gotta give people nicknames and shit. I mean, he just does a bunch of movies and takes 10 years in between. Relax.
Yeah, but I still think it's cool if you're going to spend all your dough. If he's going to do something,
Get a
kind
sub.
that's kind of a cool thing to do, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
know?
it's pretty
I
badass.
mean, he's
His
not-
subs are badass, though.
I think spending the money and owning a sub, that's badass. I think spending the money and getting on someone else's sub, like if Bobby had a Ferrari, I wouldn't give him $100 to drive me around.
I would.
Well, he's got a Corvette, so
The Corvette's not that cool.
I would.
Mikey Boots, there's no job right now.
Oh, no.
Take it easy.
Yeah, wipe it
right?
off.
That's it.
Oh, sea monster. Now I know
But
why they
going-
call you that.
But backing up to the SAT thing, the whole thing, climbing in the SAT, each system's different. So you don't know what the bell is. You don't know what the habitat is. And each system's built by the company you're going to work for the most part. Every system's different. And then they got to fit it in their vessel, so it makes it even more different. But you know that there's been a handful of guys going through it before you.
Okay.
You know that everybody there is doing a job to get a job done. We're not doing a job to go sightseeing. Like none of us.
It's a different kind of
it's a
level of
different-
safety.
Yeah, but I also think it's a different mentality. You know, when everybody's on the same page, and I'm sure they were on that. I'm not, you know, it's hard to.
We're trying to say, Bobby, they can't read.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, we were going to, every time we climbed in the SAT, we were going to do a job. You know what I mean? And I might not have known the systems in and out, but I knew that the guy before me knew the system, and I knew the guy I was going in
Knew the
knew
system.
the system.
At
So
least
you
one guy.
you have like a cheat sheet with you.
Well, at
Yeah,
least
the
one
cheat
guy
sheet.
on the team.
At least
knows
one
the
guy, yeah,
system.
at least, yeah.
See, for
And
us,
my
he's our
my-
one guy.
But my bell partner had been in the system, and I replaced his bell partner who got sick, so I got a chance.
One senior guy, then
Yeah.
one new guy.
Oh,
To the system.
I'm gonna ask the hard-hitting question. Which
Go
one
on.
you dove deeper?
Probably me.
Yeah, 270.
560.
271.
But only by like a little bit, Bobby.
Yeah.
Only by double. That's no big deal.
Well, it's also a big time difference too. When I was
true.
doing the 270,
Dinosaurs roamed.
Well, no, when I was doing the 270, that was deep. You know, that was still, you know, they had done 1,000-foot dive, but working depth, there was not that much working work at 500.
What did you have to do at 270 feet?
Close a clamp.
That's it?
We had to set some clamps. We had so we were doing a riser up. They had brought the pipe into the bottom of the platform, and then you do the clamps as the pipe goes up to the oil platform. So we were closing the clamps on the way up. There was surface guys doing it from the top, and we were hitting them from the bottom. And by the time, it started
Maybe laugh,
closer.
hit at the bottom.
It started closer to 400 feet. But by the time the guy got sick, I got in. We were at 270.
I wonder if he knows John,
John,
my brother. He got sick.
he got sick too.
John can't be here today. He's sick.
Yeah.
He has a fever.
Well, that's a weird thing too. When you get an infection in SAT, like you can have a cold and you can have the sniffles, and that's okay. But if you get a cut with an infection, you're out.
why? What happens?
Because look how long it takes to decompress.
Yeah, that, and I think just the atmosphere,
The atmosphere
right? The
is
moisture.
it's moist.
It's
It's
moist,
a,
and
it's a petri dish inside
yeah,
the SAT
it's-
system. So
if you were going to cause, if you were going to
Gangrene
cause a
or-
problem,
yeah.
you would put them in the SAT and have that fester.
like when I was in SAT, there was a kid that got in. before
Oxygen's
me.
richer, so you know everything's
That reminds me,
eaten
not
faster.
to go off track, but said I did very interesting stuff. How did they decompress coming up?
They didn't have to because
They were one atmosphere.
they were that sub is one atmosphere.
And they didn't really decompress if you think about it.
That's fucked up.
My bad.
Way too soon.
That's too soon.
Yeah, wait till next Saturday for that
That's
joke.
my fault, though.
So they go down. They're at one atmosphere, so they're 33 feet.
Yep.
The pressure with
Yeah,
equivalent to 30,
14.7.
and they went down at that.
Yeah, that's what makes the implosion.
That's what makes it so crazy. The PSI is so crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to explain this because, believe it or not, there's probably people that are listening to this have no idea about this.
Well, you have wet subs.
Okay.
So a wet sub.
Can we call them moist subs?
I mean, if
you
you're
call
selling,
whatever you want.
dude wipes.
Dude wipes, yeah.
Yeah.
But a wet sub, you're in the same atmosphere as the outside, so they're limited to whatever depth you're going down to. You're at that pressure,
And
and
you
half
have
of the
to
sub is full
decompress.
of water, and you have to decompress.
Okay. And then now a dry sub.
A dry sub, you're at one. Usually
One
at one
atmosphere.
atmosphere surface. They I think they can vary, but I think they usually run them at one atmosphere.
So these guys go down, and so that's got to be fucking crazy. You're going down in one atmosphere.
I'm sure you're hearing it like.
You-
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's making noise the whole time.
Chinking like the whole time.
Now, I mean, besides imploding, does it normally make noise? Is that normal? Like, can you imagine the guy steering with his little $30 remote
I'm
control?
sure.
He's like, this is totally normal.
I'm
Yo,
sure it does.
we'll touch back on this Logitech controller, but when I was at the dive school recently and I was testing that decompression chamber, I sent it to 303 feet, right? The whole building was creaking while this chamber was getting to 303 feet. And I remember looking around, you hear this. I'm like, oh.
He just stands behind the other teacher.
Yeah, I looked at Liam and I'm like, you hearing this, dude? And he's like, just stop the air. I was like, I did stop the air. Like, the compressors are maxed out. Everything's the same pressure. The whole system was, and we're hearing the whole building just creak. I'm like, ah, shit, we're gonna die, dude.
Like, at what moment do you think they're going down?
Theirs is
He's like-
instantaneous.
He's
though.
like, it's so normal. This is normal. We're good. And then here's that next one.
I think
that-
it's,
that was not normal.
Like you ever see MythBusters? You know, like when they did.
I've dabbled.
Right, all right, so like
With the
they did a
helmet?
whole. Did you see the
Yeah.
MythBusters with
Oh,
the Mark V?
With the
Yeah.
Did you
pig?
see that one?
No.
No, yeah, with
The pig. They suck a pig through the
They put a Mark V suit,
Yeah.
right, a Navy diving brass suit on and a pig in there. or,
pig carcass.
Yeah, and then they blew off the non-return. Right, he lost his hose, so the ambient pressure outside implodes the brass
Equalizes
helmet,
inside.
crushed it. But you see this like blast of blood go through the whole
Well,
helmet.
the whole thing, the whole body got sucked
Sucked
into
up.
the helmet.
It's like the
Chinked
helmet.
up, and like I know a diver that almost went out the non-return. Like his face was purple, like it pulled half his face out before like he was coming up and it equalized. But his whole face was black and blue. It was
Is it-
insane.
Is that
bro.
possible?
Yeah, I mean he almost went through the hole. Absolutely possible.
Just for the record, I love going through the hole as well. Just giggity.
I think your eyeballs pop out
You know
first.
what's crazy? Is you
Your eyeballs come out first.
but there's the risk,
Yeah.
right? Like the owner, I think, was the one that was talking about how risk is risk, and at some point you need to make your decision. Either you're getting out of bed, or you're going to leave your house. Or you're not, right? I can semi-respect that. I agree. I think that yes, there is a risk, and if you want to go for it, then you're going to go for it, or you're not. Moderation in my life, in my way of looking at life, moderation is for pussies. I like going for it, and I'll risk it. The juice is worth the squeeze always.
So, when you guys are diving deep like you've done, is there a moment where you're just like,
Yes.
For me, it's when I'm done.
Oh, that's a boss answer. Okay.
Well, because it's like when I'm doing it, I'm thinking about what the next move is, what I got to get done, what parts are there, and the bell I was in rotated, so everything spun. So the hatch, when you came in the hatch, it was on its side, and then they rotate it so when you get in the water, it's on the bottom. So as you're going to go into the ocean, which is waves and everything else, this whole thing's coming up and down and smashing, and 1 minute the bell's heavy, 1 minute it's light, heavy, light, and it's spinning the whole time. So that's all I was thinking about, was don't screw this up and don't break a valve as the bells spin.
Let me rephrase the question. So when you're diving, right, you're doing your thing, you're going deep, and there has to be that moment where you know your gear and you're like, this isn't right, right? And then do you push it, or do you address what you feel is the issue, or do you not, because if you're wrong, you feel like an asshole because you were wrong? Like,
I've always finished the task.
Yeah.
I've broken. I had a bandmask on once, and I broke the regulator that sits on the front. The bandmask was a plastic Kirby Morgan.
Yeah.
The orange ones, they weren't. So Kirby Morgan made two bandmasks. They made a yellow one, which was I think it was Heliox, right?
Yeah.
The yellow one was a Heliox, and then they made a plastic version of that. That was the cheap version, and
It's
being
like
broke,
riveted, yeah.
being broke, so I bought the cheap version. It was a $500 bandmask.
apparently that's common in oceaneering. You buy the cheap stuff, and then you go in the water,
And
hope
then
for the best.
well, I came up
Sure.
here to dive in the river, and then I smashed the regulator off on a piling after I cut it in the current. It came off and smashed the regulator. So that now that it's like I could feel it leaking, it's bubbling like crazy, and I'm like,
You're
I got it.
almost done.
I got it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
almost done.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
I got to get the
You
rest
go
of the stuff
forward
up.
with it.
And then I came up, my nose was bleeding, and I'm like,
How deep?
that was really dumb. It was in the Harlem River, so it's maybe 25, 30 feet, but it was the current.
16 feet.
But it was the current.
The
it's
current's
not,
crazy
It's not
over
the
there.
it's not
Yeah.
the depth.
Yeah, right.
We were right in Spite and Dival, so it was just nuts.
That's my shit.
I'm shaking my head like I know what that means.
He's
Spike
no idea.
dive.
Bronx.
It's the Bronx. It's where the East
I'll
River
take
meets
you.
the Hudson River.
I'll take you, boys.
It's
Don't
ripping
worry.
there.
Yeah,
I'll take you. We're actually gonna film over there.
and I think Spite and Dival's Devil's Ear or Devil's Eye.
Devil's Whirlpool.
I believe they
Devil's
call it
Whirlpool?
Devil's Nipple.
It's Devil's Whirlpool.
Okay,
No.
but
Like,
anyway, so it's a
lot
tough
of people
it's a
call
tough
it
spot.
Legends Bit,
How
you know?
much is the expensive mask?
Oh, at the time?
I had one.
But it didn't matter because I was
I'm
eating
just
ramen
curious.
noodles and
Yeah, right.
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
So anything was more than I had.
Uh-huh.
We bought all that dive gear. One was in there with that band mask.
Yeah, well, that was a good one. That was it.
Yes.
Remember, I told you.
Yeah.
I was like all excited. I was like, "Wow, this is a Heliox."
I'm
you
gonna
know?
break this one. Because like, you think about it, like, we all go. I mean, we all go in the water and we do our thing, and we're all some of us are still learning how to do these things, and you know your gear. You know when you can push it to. You know what you can do with it. I can only imagine
Losing your boots and continuing the job.
that's knowing your gear.
That's
yeah,
the-
knowing to curl your toes.
You know what we do? We tape our boots.
No one does that.
Ooh, that's not true.
I don't do my boots.
I thought
I
they were
know.
locked on because I had my ankle weights on.
And you had that diploma.
But when and I got the diploma. when I went down and I passed the
That's how they get you, Mike.
how were we pressure washing?
Intake.
The water intake. When I went
Intakes.
down, I passed it and I grabbed it and went to pull myself up, and my boots were already starting to come off. I'm like, shit, these are too big already.
Yeah.
And then
They're my boots.
on
by
my
the
way back up, I'm like,
I got
"Fuck."
big boots to fill.
You punch holes at the bottom of the boot, or you tape the boot.
Mine, I have holes in mine.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Oops.
So imagine their trouble on the submarine. We're worried about our boots.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I
They're
have
trying
my
to-
boots, but I lost my entire body.
Yeah, they're trying to keep us sub together. We're just trying to keep boots on.
I would. Did they have cameras inside the plane? Can we,
I think
can we
that,
get
I think
cameras?
there was, I think I saw a video of them like talking about like some of the silt that was there before, you know.
Yeah, but all that's gone.
Really?
Yeah, because it's all crushed. The only thing that's going to be left is something solid.
I don't know.
You trying to say a GoPro ain't solid?
No, because they were sending stuff via text and email, so I'm sure that they have it.
Yeah, but anything that has any space in it. So if it's not one piece of solid, all that space is going to condense and just.
The molecules are gonna crush.
Yeah, well, no, not that. Everything's going to try and fill that space.
Yeah, true.
So if you got any air pocket or any open space in any piece of equipment,
Done.
everything else around it's going to go into that little space.
All right, so we're not gonna get audio or video. Apparently, that's just ruined my dream.
But you know somebody?
No, I want it. I don't know anybody.
I mean, it'd be cool to see it for sure. I mean, not like the. I mean, whatever. I'll see the implosion too.
No,
I'm
but
just
I want to
saying,
know what went wrong. Like, I want to know indefinitely. This we can
I
all
mean,
sit here and speculate for hours.
This is where I'm at.
What
but
happened?
I know what happened.
Oh, do you?
I know what happened.
Do tell.
This is what happened. You went to Camping World and you got a bunch of holy shit handles. And then you got 2 garbage cans and you were like, hey, I'm a fiberglass guy. Let me just gel coat this bitch. Run a bunch of carbon fiber around and you're like,
Yeah, that's
oh,
5 inches. A lot.
he had a lot of carbon fiber at his house.
He must knew a guy.
And then he had a bunch of steel
Was he an
railing from a
engineer?
yard sale. He made a bunch of ballast weights that you could roll the sub on as a redundancy. Let's go down on some lift bags. Hey, I'm gonna charge you. I'm gonna charge you. I'm gonna charge you. Let me get this guy. He owes a bunch of money. This guy pulled a firebomb drill or some shit. He wants to get out of Dodge too. You know, a bunch of conspiracies. Let's get everything
Dude,
going. And then,
Have you watched?
Bam!
Has anyone watched the conspiracy theories?
dude, there's a
No.
bunch of crazy shit
So
going on.
I heard one this morning on TikTok, and again, I don't want to talk ill about anyone that passes away, but it is what it is. One of the gentlemen on the boat, one of the younger gentlemen, the youngest, I believe, apparently had legal troubles with. He called the bomb scare into a big concert or something to that effect. So he has legal troubles he's looking at right now. And then another person owned the. Again, I don't think this is true, but owned a chemical company, and is in some hot water involving the chemical company, looking at some big fines and some things, some legal trouble.
I mean,
so-
kind of fine.
But I think people with that kind of money,
They don't care.
yeah, that's you know,
That's
Right.
nothing.
it's like
feel
us.
like if
It's
they-
like us leaving a traffic ticket in Manhattan.
Yeah, we're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we go to work, we did a ticket, like, fun tax. They got me
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got you.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what it is.
But I think that those people in those chemical companies, that's an everyday thing. You know.
Yeah. So the conspiracy theory topic, the fact that these people would fake they allude that they would fake their own death in a catastrophic failure of their sub. I'm watching them going,
Yeah, everybody
I mean-
except the owner of that company.
I mean, but
could,
you-
know what
you
I mean?
talk-
yeah, I don't think he would.
You
yeah.
talk to those guys. Like, remember when they were coming to the East River? They wanted
Yeah.
to use that submarine for the Mammoth Rush,
Yeah.
right? And then we like talked about it for like a second. And I
Nope.
think that everyone here will jump off a helicopter and a snowboard. We'll go
Yeah.
cave diving. We'll
No,
go
I wouldn't do that.
No, cave diving's reckless. I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
do
do
that either, actually.
Would you go
Oh,
cave diving?
I
You
have.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Fuck
Yeah, but
mad man.
so
bad motherfucker, bro.
yeah, but not
sea monster.
again. I went to the point where there was still lines. I wasn't setting lines.
So you go where there's lines.
Yeah, go with his lines.
Right on.
Okay,
right on.
dude.
This guy gets it.
I
I've been
graduated in the '80s. Come on.
I've been wanting to dance in red shoes myself.
He's like, can we talk about new diving?
Hey.
No, I love this.
Yeah, but so there's 2 different types of cave diving. There's like the recreational where you go down, you follow somebody else's line, you're going in.
And the exploratory.
Yeah, it's still not.
Safety first.
Yeah, but it's still not like the. It's
Right,
still
that's
not a
what-
walk in the park. It's still not swimming on a reef. But it's not the guys who go and set the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that and the guys that die, again,
Written in blood,
on-
though.
the guys that are setting the lines and going in, trying to make the deepest. I've always said cave diving's a race to death.
Yeah. for
They're
sure.
all trying. They're all trying
First
to
of all,
die.
that's a book title.
Is it?
No, it is now. Race to death. That's fantastic.
Yeah, the Bone Rush guy's gonna copyright that.
Oh, shots fired.
Damn, dude. Well, you know what? They try to
Fired.
steal everything else. Fuck
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do when you have no sustainable skills?
Yeah,
Sell
steal.
t-shirts
Sell
about those
T-shirts and
topics.
give away
Yeah.
fake ROVs on
Yeah.
YouTube. Fuck it.
Here you go,
Race
guys.
to death.
Wow.
But, so
you better
those-
you better
so-
copyright that today.
But those guys are trying to go deep and far, to see who can go the deepest and furthest, knowing that you're carrying everything you need on your back, and if you go further than what you got, you ain't coming back.
That's crazy.
That's usually how I run all my dive operations. My back is killing me carrying everybody else.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
heard.
This is why we
Yeah.
this is why we don't work with them.
Yeah, that's why
That's
all,
why
can't
I'm not,
compete.
that's why I'm not working.
the first thing that shows up on his job is the fiddle.
Fuck me. I sold it. I got no money.
What's that truck delivering?
Fiddles.
Fiddle.
Fiddles.
He's gonna play him. Don't worry. He's gonna play him hard.
Everybody plays a violin. Johnny Santiago plays a
Fucking A, no
fiddle.
Puerto Rican plays the violin. All right.
Yeah. We got offered. We got a phone call from a friend of ours. That's I will not mention who because he wants no involvement in this. He called us and he wanted to pitch the idea of using that sub in the East River. And the very first question I had was like, "Is it ready for current?"
Did you see the thrusters on that? There's no way. It had
Never
like
worked.
little freaking bathtub little thrusters on it.
Never would have worked.
No.
No.
It would have been on the bottom. We would have been rescuing that.
I'm like, "Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
hop in this sub."
Yeah.
Yo, if you
Mike's
can't
like,
do
"I lost the
current-
whole sub, my boots."
Like,
Yeah,
if
the-
you can't do current, how are you gonna do like contact against a rock? You know what I mean? Because you're gonna roll around the East River around.
Yeah, you'd be fucked.
Yeah, be screwed.
And there's
But-
no tether.
And there's
you're
no
s-
hook on top. How are we
and-
going to rig that thing off the bottom?
And you still would have drowned.
It's all round and funny shaped. I can't rig this.
You still would have drowned, dude. You would have cracked it and drowned.
I don't think you would have cracked.
I don't know if you would have cracked it. It could make it to the Titanic a couple times.
A couple times, allegedly.
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 Listen, a halfway trip's further than I ever made.
Anywhere from 3 to 20.
Just think about all the hassle we have just keeping something simple like a light on your helmet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? We have
I
trouble
was
keeping
thinking about
lights
that
on our
today.
helmets.
I have a box of
Broken lights.
they're your lights.
Yeah, like-
They're your lights. I think I told you I
He
mailed
has
them
a
back for you.
box
I
of
never
your
did.
broken lights.
Yeah.
I got a box of your broken lights in the trailer.
Okay.
I know those two. But yeah, you're right. Just keeping a light on.
And we're only in 30, 40, 50 feet of water.
well,
And
in
it-
Santiago's case, 1,000 meters.
1,000 meters, yeah.
But,
But-
crazy.
Is it 1,000?
I have no idea. I don't have a calculator.
But just, every day, the light works the first time we use it. It works the second time we use it,
Dude, that's the worst. If Friday it stops working, then you yell at me saying I sabotage it to have an easy day Friday.
Yeah, that could happen.
I'll teach you, Mike. What happened?
It's only 170 meters.
Only.
Only.
So, you got us trying to keep a light lit at 40 feet, 50 feet, and they're trying to
And
keep
we
a whole
can't do
sub.
it.
And we can't do it. And they're trying to keep a whole sub lit.
You know what my first initial thought when I heard that this thing was missing? I thought these guys got stuck in a doorway, like as soon as they went for it. Like
Let's try to thread the needle?
Yeah, I thought that they went and they were like, "Fuck it." Oh shit! And then they ditched the ballast weights, and this is only because they said they heard banging. So I was like, "Oh, so they're stuck in a doorway." But then some newscaster was like, "Oh, it's a ghost net." I'm like, "Don't blame the fishermen right away." Like, come
What?
on.
What did he say it was?
Some news guy was like, "Oh, maybe they're stuck in a ghost net." Like, you know how they
A renegade net
I'm
just
like,
tossed?
I'm sure there's a ghost net right by the
Totally.
Titanic.
I was like, I hope a sea creature grabbed it.
dude,
Like
I'm
a giant
don't
squid
do
just
that.
humping it.
If I own the company, that's what I'm going with.
It was grabbed by a squid.
Dude, some tree hugging company just like,
Yeah.
yep, that's it.
The
The
Megalodon,
Kraken. The Kraken got it.
Saran wrap.
Megalodon used it as a fleshlight.
The saran wrap got him.
Kraken used it as a flashlight.
Nah, man, but I thought they got stuck, and then I was like, oh no, wait, they lost their transponder and the comms at the same time.
Gone.
I'm like, brother, if you lost the beacon with a battery,
I don't think they
source-
had a beacon.
They had a transponder. It was separate in its own battery thing. It's
Okay.
like a black box, right? So if they lost that at the same time they lost their comms, then that's it. Squash.
So Cato's my favorite, right? So Cato goes, if I was the co-pilot, first words out of my mouth is, "What'd you do?
Oh, I'm telling on you.
Damn it, what'd you touch? Don't touch that."
What's that?
I heard a thing this morning. It was that moment you turned biology into physics. They passed that threshold.
Oh,
And I was
baby.
like, wow, that's some scientific bullshit. Right? I love it.
That's
The
beyond
one
me
scientist said was what they failed is they turned biology into physics. They went from being in biology into physics
Oh,
like
yeah.
that and imploded.
I mean,
Yeah, but
Turn to mush.
think about what happened to them. No, not mush. They vaporized.
Dust, right?
that's like
It's not dust. It's juice.
Juice?
Yeah.
And
Everything
the
in
juice is worth a
that's
squeeze.
every time, dude.
God.
That's fucked up.
That's my line.
Yeah, but they didn't
I used
like,
it for you.
everybody thinks they popped. You didn't pop,
No,
man.
they
just
like
like,
that.
I didn't think they. I
And
felt they.
quicker than this, right?
I feel like
Quicker.
their mouth
Yeah.
and their butthole became one, like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm picturing. Like they took ass to mouth to the next level.
I just pictured all that.
Like
Like the lips
Quantumania?
sucked
Yeah.
down
Do
you,
the
like,
asshole.
picture it, like-
Yeah.
And nothing. And then belly button. You know what I mean? Mouth, asshole,
up,
belly
dude.
button. Done.
That's
Would an
That's it,
Audi
though.
stop it? Like, is an Audi like a log jam?
That's fucked up. I'm gonna be laughing about this.
This is exactly why divers
going
get
to hell.
canceled that all the time.
We're going to hell.
I mean, you know what you're doing, right? When you jump in.
You know, we're just talking about the physics, man. But, dude, even cylinders though, like scuba bottles, carbon fiber, like firefighter scuba bottles.
Yeah.
They have like a 12-year lifespan. You gotta get checked every year. Like I'm certified to check those, and they're only go to 2,000 psi.
So now, who certifies the sub?
Nobody did.
That's what I'm talking about.
No one checked it. Not even like a
No
little
one
knock on it.
Not
That's
a
good.
single, not a single government entity checked that.
Yeah.
stuff.
So
no,
the boat.
no outside source.
Nothing.
Just some
No.
guy going, it's good.
And
yeah,
it-
that looks
it
good.
had-
Knocking
Yeah.
on the
I love
fucking
it.
thing.
It had been derated. So
Yeah.
it was derated at one point where it couldn't go as deep, and then they did some repairs.
They
some-
re-rated it?
No,
Yeah,
they just
some
rewrote
splash-
it. Rewrote
I
that,
think they
baby.
put some splash zone on
Yeah.
it.
The
some
same guy
paparazzi.
that derated it, re-rated it?
The
Yeah.
same guy.
Listen, Tony, I'm gonna need you to re-rate this. All right, here.
You know what I
Take it
think
where
it
you want
is?
somewhere nice.
I think it's
Just lost a
it's
bet
because it's the
to
private
myself.
sector. Like there are no rules like that. you
Right,
know?
right.
Well,
Sure.
that
You
and
know
it's,
what I mean?
it was experimental, so it was past where they know what to look for. Like
I-
nobody knew where to. No, nobody knew like how do we rate this? There's no.
There's no
I mean,
scale.
Yeah, there's no scale.
I mean,
what
they
do
could
you,
have
what do you
easily grabbed like a decompression chamber and rated it to go somewhere because ASME has charts for all that
Yeah.
stuff, right? But they didn't want to do any of that shit. They
think
just
James
wanted
Cameron
to just
rated it. He
They
said
just wanted
no.
to do it and let's go.
Now the guy, the pilot, the owner, is he an engineer? You
I don't
were
think
asking this.
I
Yeah,
don't
but-
think the pilot was the engineer, because the pilot's some known sub pilot.
Yeah, he had been in the Navy or something.
Yeah, the
And he
pilot-
signed off, I guess.
Sure. Again, it's a paycheck.
Right, sure.
You know what I mean? There was
Right,
only
you're
one
Paycheck's
guy,
no good if you
Million.
can't cash
but
it.
there was only one guy getting paid.
Who?
The pilot.
The wives.
Well, the wives, yeah. But probably, yeah. But you don't even know that, right? It could be
That's-
just the
it's
wife,
true.
the wife of the pilot.
Because usually after like a diver gets hurt to toxicology and then the wife might get paid.
Yeah, I ain't
That's usually
passing.
how it goes.
Yeah, not as bad.
But you know, so only one person was getting paid. The owner was, he's on the clock 24/7, right?
Yeah.
So he's not getting anything extra. The only guy getting a check is the pilot.
Pilot.
That poor pilot.
Yeah. Well, way to go, pilot's wife. Is he married?
I hope.
Yeah, me too. Who gets it? I'm his long lost son.
You know what? She was his girlfriend. She probably won't get it. So like, think about it.
Yeah, hope they're
That's
married.
just how it is. But again, though, think about the recovery aspect of this. There, like, you had the whole Navy out there, right? And we were talking about this earlier. Like,
Two
we're
navies, us and Canada.
Right, and
They don't
well,
count.
they don't count.
Stop
You
it.
know, they don't really have a Navy.
There were people
Take
there.
off, eh?
Bro, they're barely like a country.
They
Let's
can't.
Take
Even,
off,
they
eh?
can't even fight a fire. All right, just relax.
calm down. All right.
Take off, eh?
Sorry.
Yo, hoser.
Sorry. Yeah, read John here to the sorry.
Yo, no, but we were talking about that other. There was another boat that went down, right?
Yeah, over in Greece, like 750 migrants went down, and the
At the same
and,
time.
and Spain was like, they didn't ask for help. That was the response. These poor people are looking for asylum, and the boat's sinking.
Yeah, they did.
and they're
died.
like, why aren't they calling us?
Yeah.
No one went to help them.
That's
no one gave a
fucked.
fuck. Now I saw the report and they said Coast Guard. Is it our Coast Guard?
Our Coast Guard.
Our Coast Guard goes out that far?
Our Coast Guard didn't go to them. They went to the billionaires.
No, I'm saying our Coast Guard. How far does our Coast Guard
Well,
go?
they
They
were
said
off
the
Cape.
Coast Guard just watched them.
Yo, not for nothing. I
Perish,
saw some
basically.
TikTok.
Like, is there Coast Guards in the Indian Ocean? U.S. Coast Guards?
Well, it was off the Cape.
Don't know.
I don't know. They only patrol our coast.
You
I
would think.
do know that when I was working in the Bahamas,
Yeah.
right? So one of the hurricanes, Irene, or one of the hurricanes that wiped out the Bahamas,
One of the crazy bitches.
they said that the only people that came to help was the U.S. Coast Guard.
So they go as far as the Bahamas, but there was
Well,
also
they were also-
the American
so- but
Virgin
they-
Islands.
But they also came on the island and go, "Are you American citizen?" They go, "Nope." They go, "Are you American citizen?" "Yes." "Okay, I hope and you." You know, they
Get on the
went.
boat.
Yeah, they went through and like helped the Americans, and
That's what I
once
was
they
thinking.
were helped, they helped
How
everybody
far
else. But
does the United States Coast Guard patrol? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not.
I think
Anybody?
I don't know about the patrol part, but I know they'll help American citizens in navigable waters.
Like if I'm in like
Listen,
Antarctica, I'm okay. Yeah,
you have a blue passport.
they're
They'll
coming to
help-
get
They'll
you.
help you, brother.
Okay.
It's all good.
When I was in the service, the only guys we made way for was the U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmers. It's the only when we're in
Richie
chow line.
wasn't Richie was one of those, or was he Navy?
I don't know.
He was a rescue swimmer.
Was
there's
he?
No, there's
Yeah.
no Navy rescue swimmers. It's got to be in the Coast Guard rescue.
No, it was
Yeah.
Navy. He was a rescue swimmer.
Yeah,
Could be.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard's got a badass A school for that.
I know. I
Yeah.
watched that movie with Kevin Costner.
That's a good movie.
I cried.
Kevin Costner's
crazy.
the truth. So.
He really is.
But those dudes are legit. There's
He-
no.
It was Navy. I'm positive. He had Navy sweatpants on the other day on social media, and I asked him if his wife knows he's wearing lingerie on social media. And then he's a rescue divers class. He was rescue diver.
Yeah.
That's gotta be crazy though. So you were in the Marines, right? So the Navy was like your Uber, right? Isn't that how that works?
How long
Yeah.
have
See,
you
but
been
we're
waiting to say
a
that
marine.
one, bro?
A marine's allowed to say that.
Yeah.
You're not.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
That's
My
hurtful.
little
I
brother's
can
clapping
pick
right
on
now.
my brother. You can't. But they do give a hell of a ride.
They do. I've heard good stories. Because the Navy goes anywhere. I need to know how far does the jurisdiction of the United States Coast Guard end?
Probably
It
our
probably
coastal
goes to-
waters.
Yeah, probably goes to the Virgin Islands, brother.
Did they
that's
go to
not-
Guam?
But how close was the Titanic to? Yeah, probably. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I would assume they went to Guam. Well, who knows? They actually had a special forces detail from the Coast Guard that went to Iraq. 100%. Yeah, because there's a diver that I work with at Oceaneering, Chad Wordsworth or Woldsworth. I forget what his name.
Who
is.
cares the name is?
Well, I care because he was a bad motherfucker and he sent me a hard hat and a shirt from Oceaneering, so respects. But he showed me a picture of his boys, and like a lot of them weren't around after that detail. Which I'm not trying to knock them when I say this, but I'm saying they were the Coast Guard, so I feel like they shouldn't have been out there to begin with. But everyone wanted to get involved, so the Coast Guard sent a special team out there, and those were them. So they went out to Iraq.
Do you remember when the Coast Guard came to our job site? Because I tried to do the right fucking thing for them. Never again.
Oh, with the vest.
Yeah, never again.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's
when
crazy.
we got stopped by that Armada?
No.
No, we was working Pier
Nights.
Pier 9?
It was
Pier
a horrible set
Pier
of
11.
nights.
Pier 11.
Yeah.
And me and my brother were driving home. We worked all night. And I see in the bushes.
Driving in or driving home?
Driving home. I was driving in, and I found a fucking bulletproof vest in the fucking weeds. It was on the side of the road. I saw it clear as day. So I pull over. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome.
Holster on it. A holster.
Everything.
Yeah,
Holster,
it was-
everything was
Yeah.
there.
Really?
So I threw it in the truck, and I got home, and I'm like, man,
eBay.
that person can lose their rank and everything. I felt bad.
Oh, you
I
ready to
d-
give it back?
So I called.
They called to give it back.
I gave
and
back
they
to-
met us at the pier, right?
And they were fucking interrogating me so bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Bobby, help me, Daddy, help me.
Yeah.
He was like, he was here all night with me, and they're like, who the fuck are you? He's like, I'm the fucking
This,
sea monster.
Bobby was just like, shut up. Just pay him.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
He does that, right?
I
It's
know,
amazing.
it's gangster, dude.
But the reason why I asked about the Coast Guard and where they can go is because the news article said the Coast Guard did nothing for the the passengers on that boat, and they just let it go down. But I want to know if it was our Coast Guard. I gotta look into
It
it.
probably wasn't our Coast Guard. It was
We
probably
seem
more
to,
the
we seem to take a lot of people on Coast Guard boats and bring them to safety.
It's
I
what
mean,
we
that's
do.
all I ever see is like
also like
Yeah.
I
people
feel like
huddled in blankets
this-
on Coast Guard boats.
Yeah,
This
they're in
sound-
Florida.
This
Yeah.
sounds kind of messed up, but like I feel like you know how they charge you, right? If they go do a rescue,
Yeah.
like if like the cops don't call an ambulance, there's that kind of a charge, you know. But if the Coast Guard and the Navy and everyone goes out to get you and they get you and they save you, you're gonna pay it.
Is there a bill?
So I feel like there is
There's
a
gotta
bill.
be a
If
bill.
you hit a distress and you don't have certifications on your high pressure chamber and semi-submersible
there'd be a
vessel,
bill?
100%. I mean, they could pay that obviously. So maybe they went to
Don't
help
we
them
pay it in our
because-
taxes though?
Well,
Yeah.
Aren't we paying it
I
every?
think that they
Yeah.
get the
Well,
bill.
some of us pay taxes.
Well, that's not true because like when Navy SEALs go and do extractions, I heard that the family gets billed for something like
How
that.
the fuck do you pay
What?
that?
Yeah, I've 100% read that.
Poor people.
I don't know
I
about
mean-
that. I mean, on that note, I'm going to end this episode because
I'm just telling you.
it's getting crazy. But I'm glad you guys are coming out. I'm glad we could get some sort of insight on this the submarine, just the whole thing. I like to do a toast to
Oh,
the
yeah.
men that lost their lives.
Cheers.
Bobby, make sure he fills your cup because he
I
buys
do
top
need
shelf.
another
You
shot.
need another shot? Do a little pour.
You need
Oh.
the cap off.
Sorry.
Have another.
Sorry about it.
Have another, you mother.
That's good, baby.
All right, man.
Salute.
Salute.
Cheers. Yo, this was from Harry's, by the way.
Where's Harry's?
This is in Fairfield, Connecticut. They do Operation Hope. It's a charity they do every year for women's battered shelters and donations, and they help everybody. They're really good.
Do they help victims of submarine accidents?
No.
They are today.
They are
We
today.
drank a toast to
Yeah,
'em.
but yeah,
right.
cheers.
Well, cheers to everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Diving Deep with the Dirty Water Boys. I'm glad everyone got to meet the extended Dirty Water Boys. These guys work actual jobs, so they can't come play with us on a regular basis. I mean, except for Mike.
If you're hiring, call me.
Call Mike. He'll do any job actually.
Bring boots.